this love pain. Anybody gotta feel like a pop for this love pain. Anybody gotta pray like a session for this love pain. Yeah. Ooh, I need it for this love pain. Anybody got a prescription? Yeah, for this love pain. Anybody gotta feel like a pop for this love pain. Anybody gotta pray like a session for this love pain. Yeah. Ooh, I need.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Everything is gonna be all right. Yes, yes, yes. Everything is going to be all right. So, how's everybody today? I hope you're doing fantastically marvelous. And so today you'll probably notice the name of my live is Women Rule the World. But today I'm going to tell you about my shero. Yes, I am going to tell you about my shero. Now I'm going to tell you that this might actually get a little emotional for me. So if I have to stop for a second and get myself together, not to worry, I'll get through it. Good morning, Ruby. So I want to tell you about the shero that raised me. Okay. Now I know the title seems like I'm forgetting about the guys. I'm not forgetting about you guys, but this is National Women's History Month. Okay, yesterday was International Women's Day, right? But this is actually National Women's History Month. So the whole month is just for us ladies, okay? Because we rule the world. We actually do. And I want to celebrate and honor women. And, you know, it hasn't always been easy for women. You know, we had to fight just to be seen. A lot of times. And, you know, we as women birth nations. You know, we held our heads high and we did the doggone thing no matter what, right? So I want to tell you about a woman in my life, the most important woman in my life, my mother, Alberta Grimmett Harris. She was, I can absolutely say to me, and you can, you know, everybody thinks their mother is the best, right? But my mom, to me, was the best, most awesomest mother on the planet, hands down. And I'll tell you a little bit about her. My mom grew up in a small town in Alabama. Well, she was born in Louisiana. But she grew up in a small town in Alabama, in the part of town that we fondly call the country, right? But to everybody else's standard, the whole city was the country because it wasn't that big. It's a little tiny town, okay? Now, she was the third child of 10 children. And yes, a very, very large family. And she suffered through many trials and tribulations during her lifetime, but she persevered. And she was married before she graduated high school. And she had 6 living children. She had a couple of miscarriages, so she lost children. But I am the third in the line of those 6 children. Now she had children that didn't make it, you know, because of the miscarriages, but she kept going. You know, my mother went through years of physical and mental abuse, but she kept going. And long before I even knew that she was being abused, she always smiled. You know, she made us feel loved no matter what was going on behind the scenes. Um, but when she finally, you know, there's a whole big story in between that, but I'm not going to tell that story because that's not what this is about. It is about my mom. You know, when she finally mustered up the courage to leave that abusive relationship, she didn't have any work background. She didn't even have a high school diploma to fall back on. And she hadn't gone to college, of course, because she never graduated high school. But what she decided to do, she was going to take care of her children no matter what. So she worked whenever and wherever she could. She cleaned other people's houses. She sewed. She cooked for other people. She made sure that we had everything that we needed to survive. She made us feel loved 24/7. Yes, did she tear our little butts up when we did something wrong? Absolutely. She didn't take no mess off of us. But she did it in love and made sure that we knew how to take care of ourselves. She was the best cook that I ever knew. And she taught us how to cook. She taught us how to clean. She taught us how to take care of ourselves just in case she wasn't around. And she wanted us to be independent. And she stressed having an education, no matter how that education came about. See, what my mom did, because she had no high school diploma, she didn't want to just keep on cleaning other people's houses, and she didn't want to set that example for us. But what she did was she, at night, went to night school. She went and got her GED. Then after that, it was like an addiction. She was always studying something. She went and got a degree in ministry. She graduated. You know, she went to dietary school. She graduated. She became a dietitian. She never made it to the rank of head dietitian, but hello. This is coming from a woman who didn't graduate high school, who had 6 children to take care of by herself. So she didn't want us to think that, you know, cleaning other people's houses, doing stuff for other people was the way to go. So she always told us, every single day, learn something new. I don't care if it's just one thing. Learn something new and grow every single day. Because that's what she was doing. That's the examples that she set. She was respected because she was the type of person who would give you her last. She was a minister. She counseled other people. And I remember when she had a stroke. Actually, she had 2. The first time she came out of it, you know, she had to learn how to walk again. She had to learn how to talk again, but she persevered and she got through it. But then the second time, that didn't happen. The second time, it devastated her. She was totally paralyzed on her right side. She couldn't speak. She couldn't walk. She couldn't do a whole lot of things that she would normally done. She was basically, that beautiful soul was trapped inside a body she couldn't use. But she still, every time I went to visit, she still smiled. She still tried to speak. She still tried to say that she loved us. No matter how much pain that she was in, she was always there. I remember that I would go home. This was before the stroke. Some days I just needed to be with my mother. And I would go home just to lay on her lap. And it seemed to me that she always knew just what I needed. She was the type of person that could just intuitively know what you needed. Some days I'd want to talk. Some days I didn't. Some days I just wanted to be with my mom. And she knew that. She would just let me lay on her and rub my head and we just sit there together. No words, but there were words being spoken between us. I genuinely believe that if my mom had known a different way to earn money to leave a legacy for her family, she most absolutely would have. You know, some of the opportunities that are available today weren't available to her. Or let me say they were available, but she didn't know about them. And if she had known, she would have been on it. Because she wanted us to see a better life. Never having to struggle like she did. And she always taught us to never stop learning, never stop growing, never stop being grateful. Because being in gratitude every day was what drove her. She was grateful. We didn't have a lot. But what we had, we were grateful for. And she taught us that every single day. She was a true shero. Sorry. But my mom passed away in September of 2016. In September of 2016. And I miss her so much. Because even though in the last years of her life, she wasn't that vibrant woman that I remembered, she still smiled. She still cared for people. She still remembered people. Maybe not the people that she met immediately because her short-term memory was gone, but she remembered people. I remember a time we went to the nursing home and to visit her, and we were rolling her down the hallway, and a young lady passed her, and she, with her good hand, she started pointing at her, and the lady turned around and she looked at my mom. She said, "Miss Alberta?" And she's like nodded her head, and I said, "Mom, do you know her?" And she's nodding her head, yeah. And then the girl said her name and she went, "Yep." It was so cute because she couldn't say it. She couldn't say the girl's name, but she knew her. My mom knew everybody. She was basically our history, you know, all wrapped inside that head. Because it's funny because my mom remembered my classmates that I didn't remember. Right? She would tell me when she was better, she would say, "Oh, you don't remember this? Oh, that's so-and-so's child and who lives blah, blah, blah." And she was like, give the whole history of everything, right? And when we took her to that nursing home, which was in our hometown, everybody in there almost knew her because of all the work that she did in that very same nursing home. She would go to that nursing home and sit with people just to be sitting with them. She would hold their hand. So the people, when we took her, they knew who she was. So they took excellent care of her because they knew who she was and they knew what she was about and they knew her spirit. Isn't that the kind of legacy you want to leave behind? Oh, the money thing, that's a piece of paper. But to leave a legacy of love and care for people, and hard work and diligence and having a work ethic that's second to none, learning every single day so that you can show your children and grandchildren that it's possible. That's what she did. She was my support system. She was my cheerleader. She was my best friend. I remember she used to tell me whenever I started doubting myself, she said, baby, your brain should be in the White House. Now, I didn't know what that meant at the time. I really didn't. But when I think about it, I know what she was trying to say. She was trying to tell me that no matter what, I could do anything if I just put my mind to it. That's why today I never stop learning. I never stop growing. And I will always be grateful for my shero, my mom. So today I honor and salute Alberta Grimmett Harris, who was, to me, the best shero on the planet. So who's yours? Share with me in the chats. Who was your shero? What was she to you, and how did she influence your life? Because I'm sure there's one out there. Yours may or may not be your mom. Yours may be somebody else. It doesn't matter. But somebody influenced your life to the point where you'll always remember them no matter what. Or they impacted your life so much that you're so grateful to that person. Who is that for you? There's so many out there. I'm getting even more of them now that I'm 60 years old. And I have sheroes in my life that are way younger than me. Probably old enough to be their parents. But it doesn't matter. It's the legacy that they're leaving behind, their work. So who's yours? And what legacy are you going to leave behind? Be somebody's shero. You can do it. I'm just talking to my ladies. But fellas, you can be the hero in somebody's life. Maybe even another young lady. Because men, believe it or not, there are a lot of daddy's girls out there who maybe doesn't have a father. Maybe they never had a father. Maybe they had a father and the father's gone. But maybe you can influence her life in a positive way so that she remembers you fondly. And then you can create in her a shero, a princess, a queen. Because in the end, all women are queens. Just sometimes your crown gets a little crooked and it needs straightening out. I reach out my hand to you and straighten your crown. And I'm sure if my mom was here, she'd be giving you a hug and saying, baby, it's going to be all right. So thank you so much, Ruby, for joining me. And I remember your mom very fondly as well. So guys, just be the shero that somebody needs. Yes, your mother was very good at that. She, the green thumb thing. I never had that. But, so there you go. Right there on the screen, your mom Mother Chambliss, as we used to call her, but she was a mother to a lot of people. And I remember your moms too. So thank you so much, Ruby, for joining me and letting me know who your shero was. And anybody, whether you're listening to this on replay or you're listening to it live, just leave me some comments. Let me know who you want me to talk about next. Maybe somebody, that you know, and I can do some research, of course. But hey, there you go. We could talk about that. So please like and share this video with someone who may or may not get anything, may get something from it. Okay. So I will talk to you guys later because I got to go study some stuff. But I will talk to you later. But in the meantime, I wish you peace. I wish you love. And I love you guys so much. Thanks again for watching. And I'll talk to you later. Bye, Ruby.